Welcome back to the Broker Power Up podcast, the AIME podcast for strategies, stories, and insights to help you close more loans. I'm Tommy Golightly, joined by Jonathon Haddad.
Thank you, sir. As always, another episode. These things are starting to grow, and it's a lot of fun.
We're at episode 6, and we have a lot going on today. We have the Broker Buzz, as always, where we dive into the top posts of the week from the Brokers Are Best Facebook group and discuss what's trending, what's working, and what you need to know. The sales pitch, where John helps us hone our sales skills, helps me and you become better salespeople. Then we'll wrap things up with story time with John. So let's get into it.
I'm ready, my friend. I am ready.
We're gonna start with a fortune cookie, though, as we always do.
Oh, I'm at my work office, not my home office. So I need you
So that
to.
means I gotta go grab it.
Yes, sir. Sorry about that.
Oh, you're good. With an arm's reach. Let's see. All right. So we got. Yeah, making a mess on my desk. You will soon receive unexpected financial blessings. I mean, I think both of us can claim this one, and that's okay with me.
Yeah, you go. You go first.
I mean, they're unexpected, so I don't know when they're coming.
You know, I
don't know how much of a fortune this is. It's just telling you something that's going to happen.
I think. See, I'm a believer in, and I think it's just because like my life has kind of gone on this path, so it puts me in this position constantly, where it's like I know when the focus I have and the dedication I have and the level of execution I have is like at an all-time high. Mm-hmm. I do feel like monetarily things just start to happen more. I really, really believe that. I also believe that interest rates are finally on the downward trend, even though it might take another 4 months or so. But I do think this will be the year towards the end of it or early 26 where the refinance market starts to come back, and that's really big for the loan officer side. And then in turn, that's great for AIME, right, Tavi? So potential opportunity your way too, from that perspective. But I really do. I am a believer in stuff like that. Like you just know when you get to a certain level, when you're executing and you're dialed in and things are clicking, monetarily it does increase. So our fingers are crossed for that one. I can tell you that much. So I think you and I both have fingers crossed for that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's dive into the Broker Buzz with our first question this week. We have, what are your thoughts on Rocket's acquisition of Redfin for $1.75 billion?
Yeah, of course, you hit me with that. So I worked there for quite some time, for 6.5 years. So whenever a company's publicly traded, what I've learned is it's really easy to see where they're headed because they have to tell the investors where they're headed. That's the whole idea of getting people to buy your shares of stocks and in turn allow your capital to grow, right? And that gives you more potential access to capital, which then allows you to scale and take it out when you want. And that's why you sell shares. There's a whole process. I'm not going to dive into it. But if you actually look, you can go pull this up yourself. You can see what they're trying to do. And this is part of their plan, and it's really simple. I'll share it on my screen here, Tom. If you can bring it front and center, you can kind of see it there. So they launched this. They actually posted it and sent it to their investors. They said, "Here's why we're buying Redfin." Because just so y'all know, when you do stuff like this and you're spending billions of dollars, you want to justify it to your shareholders. So you need to explain to them why you're doing it. So they tell you right here why they're doing it. It's straightforward. There's no gimmick. There's not like it's not there. So I see all these lows and everybody commenting. They want to make an ecosystem. Redfin gets, I think, about they get roughly 30 million visits a month to their site. So now Rocket has that access. So roughly 30 million people, unique visits on average, go to Redfin. So now when you're buying Redfin, you get that access. How you share the data is all within inside of the contracts. I know that just from being acquired myself, so I understand that aspect of it. So now it's a matter of, okay, what happens next? So for me, it's really straightforward, Tommy. They did it to try and get in front of the consumer first. Rocket Mortgage has been good at refinances for many, many years. That's what I did while I was there. We crushed it. Matter of fact, they're still number one in refinances year after year, and they have never been able to crack the purchase market. They just have not been able to do it because direct to consumer is really hard to do on purchase if you don't have local presence. That's why mortgage brokers dominate the purchase space. And that's just data. That's not me talking trash. I'm just telling you that's what the data indicates. So they're buying this as a massive tool to be built into their ecosystem, is what my brain tells me. And that's literally what they wrote to their investors. They said, that's what we want to do. So that's what I think they're trying to do. That's why they bought Truebill years ago. So now it's called Rocket Money. So whenever you swipe your credit card or any of that information, there's information, right? Like that's part of the ecosystem. That's what data does. And when you fill out the applications, y'all, for consumers signing up, just read it. It tells you exactly what they're doing and how they can leverage your data. It's very straightforward. You cannot lie about it. So this is another way for them to try and position themselves, I believe, to really take advantage of the purchase market. And they want to do what everybody else wants to do. If we're going to really be honest about it, they want to get to the consumer first before the agent gets to the consumer. Then you control it at the top of funnel. You control top of funnel. You have a lot more to say about what can or cannot be done. So that's where my head is at when I see stuff like this. We're going to be focused on our side of things for the mortgage brokers. I don't know how it's beneficial to brokers. Somebody said they're going to give these leads to brokers. I just, again, I'm not saying this as I'm talking trash. I'm saying this from a business aspect. If you look at Rocket's earnings on wholesale, they make a margin of like 140 basis points. On retail, they make over 400. And that's, again, in their earnings report. So if you're getting leads, why would you give the leads away if you're earning 2.5 times more by keeping it in-house? More importantly, why would you give the leads away that you can control how often somebody calls, texts, or emails? Why? It's just hard from a business side for me to think that's part of the business plan if you don't control it and you make less money by selling the lead and giving it to somebody. So that's where my head is at with it. It's just hard for me to grasp where the mortgage broker gets benefited from this. I don't see it currently. I just don't.
Right, especially when you're a publicly traded company and you have investors and you have to do what's right. There's a fiduciary, is that the right word? Fiduciary duty.
I mean, that's your job. You're appeasing. Yeah. That's the idea. You're appeasing investors. Like they're looking at the bottom line. They don't care about anything else. And by the way, that's why that's their job.
Yeah.
So it's black and white to me. I get it. I get the whole Rocket and people get, antsy and Rocket versus this and that. And I don't care to an extent. I do care about the misinformation. And it does bother me that brokers are out there saying like, oh, it's all these leads are going to come to us. And then I'm looking at the earnings reports and I'm looking at the investor pitch decks. And it's like, where does it say that? Because like either they're not telling investors or they're not telling they're lying to they're talking to somebody and somebody's getting the wrong information somewhere. So who is it? Is it the investors or is it the mortgage broker? So I don't know. Yeah. That's where my head is at with it.
Cool. We'll move on to number 2. Can you hang your license at one company and be a regular employee at another brokerage? No license, just regular staff.
So that's actually a good question. At the end of the day, I'd always be state specific. Like I don't play around with compliance. I get too cautious with stuff like that too. Each state is different. And I get it, John, but I'm an assistant. I'm an admin here and an LO here, and I do this there and that there. My first question is why? Why would you do that? You might as well just hang your license at where you're also a full-time job. And then if for some reason there is a reason, pay whatever it might be, you need to call the regulator and check with the state and get some sort of email to protect yourself. You shouldn't be making decisions like this without having something that's CYA. In the event that anything happens, God forbid, just have something in your inbox. Yeah, I called the state of so-and-so. I asked them about this. They said I was fine to do this. Protect yourself at all costs. I'm sure there's absolutely ways to do it. I'm definitely not saying there isn't a way to do it. I would ask why. And then I would also call the regulator if that's the path you're going to take and get something in writing to always protect yourself and save it so you never lose it.
What's CYA?
Cover your ass.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
Technical business terms.
Yes, CYA. Yeah, that's my HR appropriate version of it.
Got it. All right, moving on to number 3. Who are the top HECM, so home equity conversion mortgage lenders that come to mind?
So reverse mortgages are a big deal. So for AIME directly, we don't have a partner for AIME directly. However, for what we've been using at Next Door Lending, we've been using Finance of America Reverse is who we've been using. And they really have been doing a wonderful job. I won't lie to you on getting these done. There are a bunch others out there. So there is opportunity. Check with inside of our Facebook group. A lot of people post about it, and there's some really amazing people that are really good with this product. I think the biggest thing is just please learn to understand it. It can be super beneficial to elderly clients. I'll give you an example, Tommy. We had a lady, perfect example. She owned a house in California it was a condominium that was worth about 1.5 million, and she owned it cash outright. All right, and she was her credit got shot. She ran into a bunch of issues. She was in real estate, all this stuff. But anyway, she basically almost lost everything. So now she got to a place to where she had to sell her house. Well, she owns her house outright, thank God. So she's going to get this big chunk of change. So her and I are talking. She's 72 years old, by the way, at this point. And I'm like, what are you thinking about? And I got it from one of my realtors in Vegas. And she's like, I saw this condo in Las Vegas, but I just got to tell you, like, my credit score's this is that, that's this. And she's going through, and I pull credit. I go through, and she was right. Credit got shot. So I'm sitting there looking, and I go, hey, have you ever heard of reverse mortgage? She's like, what do you mean? She's like, well, why would I get I'm not going to qualify for that. I heard they're awful. So we set it up. She purchased her home in Las Vegas with a reverse mortgage, putting half down because she has all the money. So she bought a $700,000 place in Vegas. She didn't want to cash it out because she wanted the extra money to build up her money again. She put half of it down, and we got her into reverse, and she doesn't even have to make a payment ever again while she's living in the house. All she has to do is pay the taxes and the insurance. She was bawling. Like, she was so excited and happy. She could not believe there was a product. She was so upset about the mistakes she made. She goes, I made so many mistakes, and I shouldn't have done this, and here's what happened. And that happened because of a reverse mortgage. So there is value out there. That's just one story of many. So please just be educated, because it will pop up in your life, and you want to know how to have the conversation. So Next Door Lending, we're using Finance of America Reverse. There's a lot of great partners. AIME does not have one yet. So if any of the lenders are listening out there and you have this product and you got a good culture going on and you'd be a good fit for the wholesale community, we would love to have a conversation with you about a potential partnership, because we do believe, Tommy, I think you said it before this podcast, I do believe that'll be a big thing over the next several years as appreciation starts to grow within houses, and obviously people start to just age into that retirement process. So really, really good question.
Absolutely. And this is a perfect segue into how to use Brokers Are Best as a resource. Like, yes, it scrolls through your feed, right? But if you're looking for something specific, there's a search function. Go to the group, hit search, and then search these acronyms like HECM, or search FHA, or whatever loan you're looking to learn more on or have a certain question about. The answer is probably already there. So if you just, instead of waiting, of course, you can post, engage, ask your own questions, but the question may have already been answered in the past. So you can use the search function to get a quicker answer and just search, look, see what's been discussed before. You might be surprised. And how do you get into the group? You become an AIME member. How do you become an AIME member? Scan the QR code in this next ad, and we'll see you on the other side.
Are you a wholesale mortgage professional? Well, then the very first thing you need is a community to help you and your business grow. With AIME membership, your community is right here. Joining our community means never navigating the market alone or operating without a safety net ever again. We are 16,000 members strong of united wholesale professionals. From rookies to top-ranking originators, all dedicated to supporting each other's success so we can grow together. Beyond entry to the best community in the mortgage industry, AIME membership gives you the resources, tools, guidance, discounts, services, and support that help you and your wholesale business grow, thrive, and most importantly, close more loans. AIME membership connects you with leading wholesale lenders and vendors, offering you exclusive access, services, and discounts that save you more money while helping you make more money. Never get stuck on a loan again with our lender escalation program. Grow your network and skills with the wholesale industry's best conferences and networking events. Get the strategies and skills of top originators and industry innovators with AIME's cutting-edge wholesale mortgage education, resources, and content. AIME offers all of this and more, starting at a low price of $19.99 a month. You heard it here first, couple cups of Starbucks coffee. For you to learn more and get started, all you have to do is visit aimegroup.com, AIME group.com /membership. Your community is waiting.